Still issues.
Good morning. I don't think I've given an update as far as our fingerprinting and how it's going and all that in a while, so I thought I would give you a little idea how it is going. We had a surprise inspection last week by Morpho Trust. We have Crystal King as our rep, and she stopped in to inspect our equipment, inspect what we were doing. We did have issues with some pictures that we were taking, so there was glare or not set up correctly, so she went over on ways that we could improve that. We only had a few, so actually it's pretty good. In last month, we increased by another agency was joined to the network. So with that agency, we've gone from 22 fingerprinters to 36 just in the month of January. So they're also saying that in the summer, they're going to add the Department of Education, which again will increase our numbers. So our revenue's looking better. The girls have it down pat now. They pretty much do the fingerprinting, and I just set up the equipment in the morning, so it's going pretty good.
Comment from the board on that? Mr. Chairman?
I have a comment on the face scan, and I just want to, not on the fingerprinting, but on face scan. Can I go on that? Or?
Anybody for the fingerprinting issue? If not, go ahead.
Thank you. You and I and Dan would like to sit down with the sheriff to see what we can do to figure this out. The sheriff sent his concerns, but I figure we still got to figure out a way to utilize the scanning system, as Dan and I met about it last week. But I think the four of us and maybe George can sit in and try and figure out what's best for the sheriff's department for that, because we got to make it work.
Right.
So I'll be in touch, or Dan will be in touch, or George. We'll try and figure something out. We'll get in touch with the sheriff. I think, Dan, you've reached out to the sheriff for trying to...
Yeah, I indicated to him that we wanted to sit down and meet with him. So.
I only had a couple of missed punches that we had from up there this time for our payroll. I usually close the payrolls on Friday, so this last Friday I had to close the payrolls so that no one could make any more changes to the time clock. And I did have a couple issues in some of the departments where they were missing punches or they didn't add in benefit time, that kind of thing. So I did adjust those.
Good.
The two from the Sheriff's Department I addressed this morning, and hopefully those are taken care of. But I'm going to send out the reports to each of the departments and show them this is what your payroll would look like if I used this information today.
Thank you. So we'll arrange a meeting. Dan will let us know, and we'll arrange a meeting, and the five of us to get together on it. Thank you so much.
Any other issues, Mr. Farabee?
Yes, sir. Just a question, how many department heads are having to make adjustments for their employees? I mean, there's still a number of them, or is there very few as far as clock-ins, clock-outs, all these things?
Well, usually most of the departments have supervisors that are doing this job. So, for instance, Social Services, being a large department, has probably 8 supervisors or more. I'm not sure. I'm guessing. But they have so many employees that they're responsible for, and they'll go in and check and make sure that they're in there. There are times that either they forget to punch in, forget to punch out, didn't put in vacation time, minor issues. I mean, I do have a few that have to be adjusted, but that's it.
Just a follow-up on that, if I may, George. So if an employee fails to punch in, does the card go back to the supervisor? Did they initial the card that they were actually there? How does that work? How do we, I mean, to serve a purpose, right, I think it should go back to the supervisor that's signing the card, correct? Is that what's happening, or?
There's no card for them to sign. They actually sign them in. They actually go in and add the time. If the employee comes, say someone in my department came to me and said, I forgot to sign in. I know that they were there at 8, so I would go in and I would put 8 a.m., and I would put a note on it that forgot to clock in.
You as that department head?
Right.
Not not your department, but let's say it happens in one of the departments, that department head would then have to go in and say, yes, it's so-and-so, Lucy was here at 8 o'clock.
The
Or
department head or the
whoever they
supervisor.
assign to do it.
Right.
So, again, Amy Chibok is assigned to my office to check the time, and she goes in and does that if somebody misses a punch. And what happens on missed punch, if you didn't face in, and somebody went in and physically faced you in, that comes up as bold.
Right.
So you know immediately that was not a clocked in, it was done, by physically doing it to the system.
It
So you
also
can tell the
shows who,
difference.
Dan.
Right, and it shows who actually
Changed it.
To clear something up, are all department heads scanning in themselves?
Except for elected.
Richard, which is
Except for electeds?
Yep,
But
elected
but
officials.
everybody, all the other department heads are?
Right up, including me.
And they have to do it here on site? They can't do it from anywhere
You
else?
can do it from a mobile phone, absolutely, you can do it from a mobile phone. And it actually, the system will actually track GPS to say exactly where you were when you did it. I could be in Glens Falls, and if I said, okay, I'm going to a meeting in Glens Falls, and I clocked in at 8 o'clock, it would show me in Glens Falls at 8 o'clock, clocking in from a mobile phone.
Okay. Thank you.
Sophisticated. Anything else for our personnel director? Not, thank you, Marcus.
Thank you.
Clerk to the board.
I have submitted a monthly report. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Anything for Judy? I'm happy to add to her report that at 1 o'clock today, we will open a new OTB or start the process of getting an OTB in Willsboro, New York. We're getting closer to Lake Placid every day.
Rolling up there.
Anything for Judy? Dan is out. We need to do that memorandum of understanding, add our name to a long, long list from the governor on down. Would you like to move that, Mr. Chairman?
I don't think I can, George. I'm in support of it, but I can't, I'm not in the committee.
Well, who on this committee would like to move this? Mr. Farabee. Any other discussion on this memorandum of understanding? Convinces us not at all, it just convinces us to be active in this effort. All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Any other business? Mr. Skossett?
I'd like to move a resolution of congratulations to Lena Cyprian, turns 100 on March 16th, from Mineville, Witherby, New York.
God bless you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Any other issues with personnel committee?
I can't.
None? We are